Two of those lawmakers join me now. Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, Republican Congresswoman Martha McSally of Arizona. Congresswoman, let me begin with you. Do you think it is appropriate for the president to essentially be explicitly threatening to take away that money and spike people's premiums as a means of gaining political leverage over the law?
Well, Chris, thanks for having us on. And let me be clear, this is a very hot-button political issue, and we still have sincerely held different beliefs about what is a sustainable healthcare system. But what Josh and I and our colleagues have been able to do is, over the last several weeks, really come together to laser focus on one issue, which is stabilizing the individual market, which is actually starting to fail. In Arizona, we have 14 of 15 counties with only one choice last year. Costs were up over 100%. 40 counties in the country, 40% of counties in the country only have one choice, and many now have no choices. So we said, can we come together in the Problem Solvers Caucus and really find some common ground and solutions on this specific issue, while also providing a little bit of relief for small businesses so that they can have some additional economic growth. So we released our today. It includes a bunch of things. It was give and take. We had rigorous debate. But we're here together tonight to say, hey, this isn't about the rhetoric. This isn't about, all the political scoring. This is about solving the problem for real people. About 7% of Americans get their care on the individual market, and it is not working right now. So we have got to address this urgently, because 2018.
What percentage of Americans get their...
It's about 7% on the individual market.
I thought you said 70. I was like, oh, my goodness, what happened?
No,
so
7.
I hear that, and I want to follow up with you, Congressman, about that targeting, because one of the things that was so strange, of course, about what we've watched play out, Congresswoman, is that the real acute problems, which are fixing the individual market, a lot of the bills that were being passed had nothing to do with that, right? So Medicaid and all that stuff doesn't appropriate for the president, and not just threaten to, it's a thing he might do, which is to hold back that money. When you talk about, costs are too high for people and people are having problems, that would be explicitly making that problem worse. He shouldn't do that, should he?
As you can see from our plan that we released, 43 members of Congress, equally nearly on both sides of the aisle. One of the elements is to fund those cost-sharing reductions, those CSRs, but not just throwing money at the problem and not being fiscally responsible, because structurally it needs some changes. So the Stability Fund is absolutely critical to address those with the highest expenses and the most complex medical needs, so that we can help drive down premiums and provide more options so that the young, healthy people get in the market. So we can't just throw money at the issue, but part of our plan is to fund those CSRs, because choices are being made here shortly for the 2018 markets, and we've all got constituents who are running out of options, and we've got to find some bipartisan solutions to stabilize that, and that's what this plan does, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Congressman Gottheimer, your colleague just said it's not throwing money at the problem. Mitch McConnell, however, sort of in waving towards this, right? So one of the things right now is getting money insure in certain ways the insurance companies to try to induce more of them into these markets where they're fleeing or there aren't enough of them. McConnell called that a bailout. Rand Paul called it a bailout. In fact, there was already that money in both the House and Senate bills. But if you just focus on that, are you just essentially bailing out the insurance companies like a lot of people are going to accuse you of doing?
No, I disagree with that. I think what you're doing is actually stabilizing the marketplace. What we're trying to do is here help families and small businesses, and the best way to do that is actually getting premiums down. We've seen that in the last months, especially as there's been lack of certainty and with things in turmoil, premiums are way up, 15 to 20% nationwide. If we can get the cost sharing, get those dollars to the states to actually help them deal with lower income folks and with others who need health care, people with high risk diseases and others who really need support. If we can do that, the Kaiser Foundation and others say that premiums will come down 15 to 20%. Right. I'd say in states like New Jersey, where I am, we've got a lot of people hurting, and that's the kind of help we need. So I don't really look at that as anything but actually helping people and stabilizing things. And that's the urgent problem that Martha was talking about that we're trying to deal with. And dealing with the high risk pools of people who with pre-existing conditions and helping them, to me, is the answer. What we need to do, we can't keep having the same fight of trying to kill it versus fix it, which to me is what we need to do here.
Congresswoman, is there any interest among the leadership in your party to, I mean, they control the House, and we know how the House works. The House floor agenda is set by the Speaker. That would be Paul Ryan. Is there any interest in something like this?
Well, we've kept them informed that we were working on something. We are going to be following up with the specific details now that they are public. But if you look at some of the things that have been in most of our bills, repealing the medical device tax, there's dozens of Democrats on that bill, and we found common ground here to repeal that, to provide relief for small businesses by moving the employer cap from 50 to 500 and the work week from 30 to 40 hours. This is really going to allow some economic growth, people to start hiring again while breaking down the firewall. So some of those individuals could go on the individual market, and that'll help steady it. So these are all things that have been in our proposals, and from our view, we got to suddenly address it.
Sorry, Martha. What I was just going to say and add to that is the big breakthrough here is that you've got Democrats and Republicans sitting in a room, 43 of us, who actually are trying to find a solution here versus just screaming at each other about health care. And as you've seen over these last months, there's been no attempt to really cooperate to try to fix the problem, stabilize things, get them under control, provide some certainty to people instead of actually having them frightened. That's what we're trying to do here, and I really think we took a huge step. It's just the beginning. It's not the end, but it's a very important step forward.
All right, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, Congresswoman Martha McSally, thanks for joining me.